Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to be drawing these cute little foxes. I'm going to start this video off a little bit differently by showing you what I used to create this cute little photo. I used a 12-piece graphite set of pencils from Prismacolor Premier. I also used the jet black from Premier as well. This pencil came in handy for the darker areas that I see. I used a smudging stick. Anything to smudge the paper will do. And of course my favorite tool, the nail dotting tool, to help embed the paper so you can see those fine fur line details. I did not end up using the slice tool, so you do not need to use this if you do not want to or if you do not have it. The next tool is the eraser stick. This definitely came in handy. And a normal eraser if needed. You'll also need a kneading eraser. I did not show that in the beginning here. And then a brush or anything just to wipe away any excess that may have fallen on the paper. And of course, you always need your reference photo, whether it's printed out like I like to have it or on an iPad or a computer. Please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification. So I hope this short little video helps you out in the end, and let's get started. So the first question on my mind is, do you need color pencils to create good art? The answer to that is no. You can create good art with cheap pencils, expensive pencils, colored, black and white, whatever you have on you at that time. All you need is a lot of practice and a lot of patience. So going in right now, I'm just mapping in the darker areas with, I believe, a 2B pencil. I then am going in like I normally would with my nail dotting tool to embed the paper so I can see those fine lines when going over with the pencils. When doing this, I'm just using a very light touch. Once I like what I see, what I've put down, I'll go in with like maybe a medium to harder pressure, and then I'll go over that with the blending stick that I have just to blend those areas out into one another. The blending stick can come in handy also when you're just trying to map in to see where those lighter patches of fur would go down, so then that way you don't really ruin the tooth of the paper, but you kind of get a sense of where the darker patches are. When you want to pick up the pencil you've put down, go in with that kneading eraser with a very, again, light touch. I like to squeeze it into a fine little point, and then that way I can get a little bit of fur detail added in there at the same time. I go over this a few times with that 2B, and then later on I go in with the harder pencils like a 3H, a 5H, and I can actually add in some more fur details. Going in the ear, again with that 2B pencil, I am just mapping in the dark patches of fur that I can see in the reference photo. I start with the inner ear and work my way out and around, and then I jump back into the upper eye and work my way towards the ear. Nail dotting tool to get those fine lines that I can see in the reference photo, and then I keep going over those areas with a darker pencil here. I believe it's a 3B, the smudge stick, and so on. As long as you keep looking at your reference photo, you will be good to go. So I just showed a quick little glimpse of a close-up there of what I accomplished. So this time around, I actually go in with my nail dotting tool first, and I just go over the whole entire rest of the fox to get a better sense of where those light furs that I can see would be placed. I would then, again, with actually, I believe it's a 2H this time, a harder pencil, I go in and I just kind of lightly place down where the darker patches would be, and then went in with the smudging stick, smudge those areas out into the lighter areas, because I know I can go over those areas later with the eraser to lighten those areas up. Here I think I'm using a 2B pencil again, and I'm actually just placing it down in the darker fur areas that I can see in the reference photo, using about a medium pressure here. I don't want to go too hard at this time, and then I like to smudge that out again. The smudging stick is a very handy tool when using graphite pencil. Going in with that rubber eraser, lightening up a few areas, again going over the areas that I've already placed some graphite down with the other graphite pencils, like a 2H, 3H, and a 5H. The harder pencils can help give a little bit more details into the photo that you are drawing. The next step that I do with this fox is I'm going in with that jet black pencil. With this jet black pencil, I'm just going in those center ears, the tip of the ears, and the back of the ear, and even in the eye and nose that I can see that are a little bit darker than the rest of the fur. So for the next part, I did not film the fox's head. I wish I did, but I just wanted to get some of it done off camera. Again, I'm going in with the 2B just to map in those darker areas that I can see in the reference photo. Now, I don't know what went wrong. I'm assuming that my storage space on my computer kind of filled up and my OBS could not handle that, so it got a little bit funky on me and I tried fixing it. I was also streaming live on TikTok at that time. So yeah, make sure you go on over there and check out my page if you haven't done so already. Going in with that smudging stick, just smoothing out those lines that I've put down, and then I start on mapping in the darker areas on the fox's body. There's not much detail here. It's a little bit more blurred in the reference photo, so I didn't do too much here besides mapping in the dark areas and then using that smudging stick just to darken up a few areas around. I left a few spots open because there's some blades of grass coming through that you can see in front of the fox, so I left those areas on the lighter side so that way I don't have to do much when I start working on that spot. I go over the fox's face a few times here, just with different pencils that I find fitting. So I believe I used a 3H pencil just to get some harder lines put in there, a little bit more detail that will make this come to life. Keep going back and forth with that blending pencil, well, smudge stick, sorry, not blending pencil, and the eraser. Just darken up any areas, lighten up any areas that you think may be needed. It's totally up to you. Make it your own piece of artwork. There's a cute little close-up for you that I just showed you. And again, just darkening up a few areas here that I think is needed. If you go too dark, you can just use that erasing tool and lighten up the areas that you need to. Now I'm going in with that eraser stick just to add a few more highlights. If I went too light, I can just go over with the smudging stick. Alright, for this part, there's not much detail. It was very blurred, so all I did was use my bigger blending stick to put down a base layer. Then go over it with my eraser just to get some details of grass that I can see. And then I just went in with a little bit of a darker pencil just to help place a darker shadow down. Again, blending stick, went on over all of that, and then use my eraser just to add some grass details that are needed. Using that kneading eraser and eraser stick, I keep going back and forth to add any fur details that I may have lost while smudging out the edges to do the background. Now, the fox's nose, I just could not get right on camera. So off camera, I was able to get it the way I wanted it to look. And I will show you a close-up here shortly. I keep working on this area a few times until I say enough is enough and leave it as is. So yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any future projects. And here's a little close-up for you. Have a good night. Bye.